APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort and safety and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance for the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento with $22.22 per month per 1,000 finance at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/5/23.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Living on the Gulf Coast, we have beautiful beaches, clear water, and amazing marine life. Want to bring a piece of the ocean into your home or office with an amazing aquarium? Gulf Coast Aquarium, the area's only certified platinum CCHEM dealer. Their staff are all certified CCHEM specialists. Gulf Coast Aquarium can install, design, maintain, and finance your own piece of the Gulf. Gulf Coast Aquarium, powered by CCHEM, with over 40 years as a U.S.-based manufacturer of quality aquarium products. Online at GulfCoastAquarium.com. Gulf Coast Aquarium, where it's more than just a tank.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they will get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Chuck was terrible at fishing. He spent many frustrating hours attempting to get results he saw from internet videos, aggravating trial and error fishing trips, and misguided advice from well-intended friends. Chuck is happy now with his newfound success after he visited Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, where we keep fishing fun, simple, and successful. See us soon at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVOQ Port St. Joe.
You gotta fight!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat. The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good Friday morning here in Panama City Beach. You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. As always, you can listen to us on 104.3 Panama City Beach, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast, and you can always watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you don't, you're really missing out. This is a comedy show slash sports show.
It is.
As we do pretty much every day when you're here in studio, Jay. So we appreciate that. Again, you can watch us there, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Make sure you subscribe, like, and follow, and get those notifications when we do come online, because you don't want to miss out on the Inside Drive. That is for sure. You got something?
No.
Okay, cool.
Not at all. Yep.
I'll finish all the homework here to make sure we get paid. So it's again, Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC, Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios over there at 2251 West 23rd Street in Panama City. All your vehicle needs, service, whatever it may be, tires at cost as well there at the dealership. And then as always, they are a Yamaha outboard full line dealer at Kramer Marine and Outdoor. They also do Suzuki outboard, Yamaha Master Certified Tech, Seaboard and Spider, and Sundance boats, all part part of that CRI family, you can visit their new and used inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. And as Chris said yesterday, they're also a Yamaha power pump dealer. So if you're looking for a 2.5 or 3-inch pump, I think, and sometimes that can be very important depending on how that weather is looking out there. A lot of fun stuff happened last night in the sporting world. We were talking about the College World Series yesterday, which is going to culminate this weekend or Monday potentially, depending on how this series goes. We'll jump into that in just a little bit, but did want to talk about real quick. I got to give a shout out to Dynasty Flag Football. They got their season underway last night, and it was a good start, and we played well. Liam took after his dad from the bad adult flag football game. For his first pass of the game, and I'm saying this because he recovered from it. He threw a pick six. Yeah. So we went down 7-0 early in the game, and we didn't look back from there. Ended up scoring 38 straight points, several touchdown passes, touchdown receptions, conversions, runs, a couple pick six, a lot of interceptions. Team played great last night.
Did it without Jace.
Without Jace. Yeah, the team really played well together. A lot of good receivers, and Liam was slinging the rock last night.
Nice.
That was for sure. So
yeah, cool.
A lot of
Way
fun.
to go, Liam.
A lot of fun to be had out there. I know a flag football season is well underway, and just excited to be a part of it. Southern Elite Sports does a wonderful job with their basketball, their adult leagues, their flag football, all sorts of good stuff. So if you're looking for one of the best sports leagues in our area, Southern Elite Sports is definitely that.
It's cool seeing them grow up, man. This is 3 or 4 years now that you've
yeah, and it's cool because our summer team and our winter team are a little bit different. We have some kids that play with us every summer, we have some kids that play with us every winter, and then we got a core group of about 3 or 4 kids now that have been playing together since Dynasty Flag Football started. When we started, it was certainly not pretty. I can say that because I didn't really know what was going on or what to look for, but we've certainly grown, and the kids have a great bond, and like the kids out there playing, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. These guys form these bonds and these groups. It's just awesome to kind of see them come up together. Yeah. So one of the cool things about sports, that is for sure. Don't forget, we got our promo going on for that Yeti cooler inside the Bay Point Golf Shop. You buy 2 sleeves of TaylorMade TP5 or TP5X golf balls, and you can get a raffle ticket to enter to win a $500 TaylorMade Yeti cooler. And that Yeti cooler also rolls.
Nice.
Which, that's one of the things about Yeti coolers. I mean, you fill it up with whatever you're going to fill it up with, and you got to carry it.
Yeah.
So this rolling one is definitely cool. That is for sure. So
what kind of balls do they got to be, Jay?
It's a TP5, TP5X. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yesterday he asked that right after.
The reason I say that new TaylorMade ball that looks like Saturn, the planet Saturn that's got the yellow line.
Oh, yeah. The Tour Response.
The Tour Response.
That is not eligible for the promotion. Yeah. It is a TP5, TP5X promotion. That is for sure.
It's one of your less expensive TaylorMade golf balls, but it's a good putt. I mean,
Tour Response?
Yeah.
It's like if you know Titleist, it's kind of like the Tour Soft or the Tour Speed, which used to be known as the NXT. We do have a caller on the line. And Travis, are you out there?
Yes, sir.
Travis, how we doing?
Good morning, Travis.
I'm doing good.
What do you? Yeah, go ahead.
So I wanted to call yesterday, but I think I was a little late. But y'all were talking about the whole Jerry's World, the jumbo.
The weight of the 1.2 million pounds or whatever it was. Yes.
I did my research, and I thought this was pretty crazy. You said one of them weighs that much, right?
Yes. Yeah, the one that goes there's the smaller ones that kind of face the end zones, and then the 2 huge ones that face, each side of the stadium.
Well, what I looked up, it will hold, or that is the equivalent to, 416, I believe, fully loaded dump trucks.
Whew.
Oh my God!
It's a lot. Yeah. When you put it into perspective like that, it certainly brings out the magnitude of how heavy those things are.
I love how someone did not miss the opportunity to compare anything Jerry Jones touched to trash.
These things are just about.
Yeah. Do it.
Go ahead, Travis. Go ahead.
I just thought that was insane because I got to thinking, I was like, that seems like a lot, but I wonder if we could put it in the perspective of something that, we see on the road or something. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to compare it to a dump truck.
Yeah, imagine
a fully loaded dump truck.
If you're driving down the highway and you saw a parade of 418 dump trucks, that would be something. Yeah. That is for sure. Yeah. Hard to believe.
That would be one Jumbotron.
Just one, and that's two of those sitting in there. That's
insane.
And how do you engineer the stadium to be able to hold that kind of weight from the roof or whatever you call it? It's just crazy.
Like, I didn't think it hang a dump truck and actually keep it, staying there, much less 416 of them.
Yeah, I can imagine 460. Like, how is that holding up? I guess there's something with weight distribution and all that good stuff. Way above my pay grade, that's for sure. There's people that picked a lot of money to.
Well, what's crazy?
That's just one of them things that you just think about. Who thought about I guess I could hang a 1.2 million pound thing up. I just got to figure it out. I don't know.
I'm sure that process started as, I want this scoreboard this big.
Yeah.
I don't care how much it costs, how much it weighs. Y'all figure it out to get it how to hang up there. So,
right.
And we're in the world of plastics and titanium and everything light. I mean, that's what baffles me. I mean, we're talking like old school console TVs here, man. This is that's a lot. That is a lot.
Nowadays, entertainment systems.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it.
Crazy. Hey, Travis, what's your favorite? Coach Hale always asks, what's your favorite college team? But I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite sport and what's your favorite team?
So my favorite sport is football. I have been recently getting into baseball because of the College World Series, and my team's in there, and my team is Florida.
Oh, awesome!
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. How do you think that championship series is going to go?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not really worried about LSU as much anymore. I mean, I know they're a great team with a bunch of great people, but Paul Skeens, I think that's his name.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm just getting started. Paul Skeens is that team. 120 pitches, and the dude was still on the money.
Yeah.
That was insane. Paul Skeens is that team, and I really don't think that if Paul Skeens is not pitching, I have faith in our bullpen's loaded from what I can see.
And you guys have had a lot of rest, and you're going to be fresh for this series where LSU had to get to this point. And, Skeens may be available if it goes to 3 games, but I don't think he would be available, maybe in a relief appearance potentially on Sunday if they're facing elimination or something like that. But, yeah, now y'all got a fantastic bullpen and a fantastic rotation as well. I think certainly an advantage going into the championship series for Florida. But it's baseball, and it's the championship series, and you just never really know. But exciting to see 2 SEC teams in there as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was watching the game last night thinking it was never going to end. I was like, man, these people are going to go like 20 innings and not have a score. But for some reason, I felt like whenever that guy, or White, stepped up,
Tommy Tanks,
I was like, this dude's about to knock it out of the park. And I heard it come off the bat. I was like, yep, that's gone.
Yeah, I was watching it with my son. We just got back from flag football, and we were watching it in the 7th, and it was just going so fast. And then they walked him in his previous at bat, and then as soon as he hits that home run, Liam goes, "That's why they walked him the last time."
Can you imagine that pitcher and how he felt though? I mean, they just put him on the mound. His one and only pitch that whole game was the winning home run.
Well, I don't know if you saw either. They didn't really show it too much. A couple of social media things were picking up about it. But right after that, the pitcher, his name was Camden Minacci, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That was his first pitch. Obviously, Tommy White hit it out. But then after that, right there in all the madness, Tommy White sought out Minacci to console him, and vice versa. Minacci of Wake Forest was congratulating him. So just thought that was a pretty special moment in sportsmanship at the highest level of college baseball you can play, one of the biggest stages and the biggest moments. One of the first things that Tommy Tanks wanted to do when he hit that homer was go find that pitcher and console him. I
mean, that's the person thing to do. That's just a good human. I mean, because you think about it, you're going up there, and everybody's counting on you, and one little mistake, and I guess it wasn't even a mistake. It was just the right pitch to that.
He squared that bat up perfectly on that ball.
Yeah, he did.
And it's like I know his heart just sunk, and it was, I know the whole world just fell on him when that happened. I mean, because it's just, I know that's how I would feel. If that happened to me, I would be like, oh man, I just let the whole team down. I'm about to catch it. This is going to be all over social media and everything. My first pitch of the game, and it's what causes us to lose.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, and and it's hard to. Obviously, that's the way you want to feel. But in these, I mean, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, and somebody's going to feel that pain, and somebody's going to feel the joy. But to see the two guys come together, I mean, I hope there's a lot of kids watching that, because that's what at the end of the day is important. It's sportsmanship. We're all humans out there playing. Obviously, it's awesome to win and devastating to lose, but really cool to see that come together yesterday, and just what a great baseball game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we got you on the spot. While we got you here on the line, what are you thinking about this year coming up for the Florida Gators? This last year before the SEC adds Oklahoma and Texas and combines into to two divisions, or to one division.
Part of me is scared. Part of me is excited. I mean, we've got. I don't know how to feel about Graham Mertz. I mean, he's him. I don't know. He doesn't have very much. Tape or anything that I can watch that leads me to believe this guy is going to be amazing or this guy's going to absolutely suck. I mean, he didn't play very much when he was in, wasn't it Ohio?
Wisconsin.
State?
Yeah.
Wisconsin? I don't know why I thought Ohio State.
Very similar spot, same conference, you're good.
Same color.
Right.
Same color.
But, I mean, I don't know what to think of him. I know that we just grabbed a couple wide receivers and with recruiting that one of them is supposed to be like outrageously fast. I believe, now this is the way I'll say it, I believe that if Graham Mertz is good, if he is our Joe Burrow and, coming from a school where he wasn't really known and then coming straight in and, outperforming like crazy, if he is that guy, I believe that we're set because I believe we've got a good defense. I believe the new defensive coordinator is going to be great. I mean, Alabama was sure mad to see him go, but yeah, I mean, I believe that we're going to be set if Graham Mertz is the guy.
Well, and you're already building a great it's still early, but your 2024 recruiting class just jumped to number 2 in the last couple days. So obviously Billy Napier's doing a great job, and I just hope Florida, gives Napier a chance to really develop this thing, and because there's a lot changing and it's changing fast. So I think you got to, let your coaches kind of stick this one out even more so than in previous times, just because of, the new changes to the SEC, the 12-team playoff. There's a lot more opportunity now, especially as an SEC team, besides, the top ones that have been there the last, 5 or 6 years. You got more opportunity to potentially play yourself into those, final 2 games.
And I'm worried about that too, because, Florida especially, as much as I hate to say it, they are so quick to fire their coaches. I mean, it's unreal. Like Dan Mullen, I know that it kind of sucked, but we went 10-2 most of the time. I mean, we did not have very many bad years. We had one, and he got fired. Yeah. So, with that being said, like you said, Napier has built this crazy class for 2024. And it's still building it. I mean, it's really early. The 2023 season hasn't even started.
Yep.
And he's still building this class that is just right now outrageous in talent. And, the thing that I'm worried about is he going to make it to 24? If this year is not good enough, what is Florida going to do? What is Scott Strickland going to do? What is the Florida fans going to do? Are they going to say, okay, well, let's give him 2024. Let's see, he's got a ton of talent. Let's see if he can coach. Because if he can't coach, obviously you need to either look at an offensive coordinator or just a new coach altogether. But he's already showed his recruiting. I like to have him again in 24, regardless of whether 23 is a boom or a bust.
Yeah, I mean,
my opinion.
I think that's how it should be treated. You know, especially next year, so much is changing. You've got 2 more teams coming to the SEC. Obviously, they announced your opponents that you're playing against, but not the dates and the time. But you know, the top 2 teams, regardless, the divisions are gone. So if you're in the top 2, you're playing in the SEC championship, and you know that the playoff system changes next year. So I really think any coach in this year, if they're building something up, obviously if they're just, you know, going downhill in a dumpster fire, I don't think regardless of what happens, you got to get rid of them. But I think this year for most of the top programs, you've got to give the coach this year regardless of what happens, because next year so many things are going to be different, especially in the SEC.
Oh, yeah, completely agree on that.
Well, what about your Gators? You know, if you listen to the show, which we appreciate you doing, talking about your national championship golf winning Gators and individual national championship, that had to make you excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just starting to hear about all this, and as far as golfing goes, you know, I've never really got into it. I want to go. I'm searching for people to go with me because I don't know a lot of people that played.
Yeah.
But I want to go. I want to learn all the stuff and everything like that. I've been wanting to go for a while, but you know, I've just kind of got up with, you know, all these national championships. I mean, this is how little I know about everything other than football. I just started watching the College World Series because I just figured out that Florida was in it.
There you go.
I mean, it was just a couple weeks ago that I sat down and I was like, you know what? All these, I actually heard it on y'all's show that Florida's won these national titles, and I'm like, man, I didn't know that. And then it was like, then I know y'all said something about, and they're in the College World Series. I'm like, man, I didn't know that. And so I just turned the TV on, started watching it, and actually got really interested in it.
Well, and college baseball is so much fun to watch because last night was it's just so intense, and every moment just makes such a big difference. But yeah, and you know, in previous times before ESPN Plus and all this other stuff, you know, it was hard to watch these your non-basketball or football or whatever it may be. It's hard to watch, but nowadays, I mean, you can watch, you know, the NCAA lacrosse, men's and women's championships, field hockey, track and field, swimming and diving. It's all available to watch, and it's cool when you realize that your school and your program that you follow is doing great across the board.
Tiger TV.
Oh yeah, except for football, and that's what.
Yeah, but that's okay. Hey,
the good news is coming. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was great. Especially, like I said, I heard the golf news on y'all's show, and I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, honest to God, I didn't know they had a golf program.
Yep. A top golf program. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was, you know, something that was there. Like you said, it's not just on your picked for TV stuff. It's just, you got to kind of search for it.
Yeah, you got to find
it in like ESPN and stuff like that. So that's just something I never knew. But yeah, I mean, I love to be able to brag, even though I didn't know until like a couple days ago.
Hey, that's fine. That's completely fine. Hey, Travis, we got our first break coming up. We got a guest coming on the line here in a second. Thank you for calling, and of course, thank you for listening. And give us a call anytime. We'd love to talk Florida Gator sports with you, even though I'm sitting across from a bulldog. But he's a very nice, calm bulldog.
I stay quiet this whole time.
That's true.
Yeah,
you always say you let your team do the talking.
That's right. That's right.
And you got an Alabama fan behind the glass.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's right.
We deal with a lot of those, so we're used to it. But again, Travis, thank you for the call, and have a great rest of your day, and have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. Love the show.
I appreciate you.
Travis.
That was Travis, a big Florida Gator fan. He's learning about golf and all sorts of stuff. When we get back, we will be joined by Steve Pike. He's the owner, editor of Spikes Golf and Travel. I've known Steve for a while and want to get his thoughts on live and golf travel and the state of the industry and all that fun stuff. So if you got a question for Steve who's on the line, you could always go to our Facebook page and leave a comment, and we'll read it right on the air. You're listening to The Inside Drive live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida is on location at Dave & Buster's. The afternoon underdogs are broadcasting live at Dave & Buster's Pier Park with half-price cocktails, half-price games, free Dave & Buster's game cards, and choice swag from ESPN Northwest Florida. Join David, Kyle, Amanda, Drew, and a cast of sports fanatics every Wednesday from 4 to 6 with fun and prizes at Dave & Buster's Pier Park with ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For this afternoon and evening, possible thunderstorms and mostly sunny and a high of 83 with a 10 to 15 miles per hour wind out of the southwest. Partly cloudy skies tonight, a light breeze and warm near 77. A likelihood of thunderstorms in the morning and afternoon, followed by mostly sunshine and 84 tomorrow. 85 and mostly sunshine with a gentle breeze Sunday. This is your Friday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
We're starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
They didn't want me, damn hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, damn hot, they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, damn hot, they all on me.
Who? Jay Henley. Who that?
Jay, you got to answer it the right way.
Yes, come on, man. Again, we're teeing these things up for you. You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. We are now joined by, I'm going to say, a good old friend of mine. His name is Steve Pike. He's the owner, editor for Spikes Golf and Travel. Been doing this for 32 plus years. Steve, how are you doing this morning, or probably this afternoon where you are?
How are you?
Doing great. Long time no talk, and I hope everything's. You seem like you're still humming right along, going playing all these golf courses, having a good time.
It's been very fortunate over the years. I get to live a life that I can't really afford.
Yeah, I was talking to Jay. Jay Henley, he's our director
Steve.
of instruction. I don't know if you ever met Jay. He was with us prior to the hurricane, and then after the hurricane, he was gone for a little bit. But now we brought him back down here to the beautiful white sandy beaches. But we were talking before the show this morning, and just saying, he's like, so he gets to go around, he plays golf courses and reviews them, and gets to eat good meals. And he's like, how do I get signed up for that?
No kidding, what a great job.
And I was like, well, you've got to have a huge following, and you got to have been doing this for, you've been doing this for 30 plus years.
That's right. I started in 1989 at Golf Week, and then went to Golf Digest and PGA of America, and I've been doing it now freelance for the better part of 15 years. So I guess I could say I'm semi-retired, but if I retire, what am I going to do? Travel and play golf? Well, I do that anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I don't see a need to retire. Obviously, you've been up here to Bay Point a few times, and great property that we've been through a lot. Since we've been here in the the last 6 or 7 years with Hurricane Michael, and trying to get the stay and plays going. We did a couple golf fam trips, which was fun. When working with Craig Falanga back in the day, and I think that's kind of how we got hooked up a long time ago. But I
think so. Yes. I definitely need to get back up there sometime. I just need to figure out a good time to do it. And you guys you're all busy these days, so that's good. But we'll try to work something in soon.
Yeah, definitely. So, obviously one of the huge topics right now in golf is the big PGA Tour LIV merger, and just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it a little bit. Obviously, there's still a ton to unpack on this whole thing, and to kind of get your thoughts on it, and then really see what direction you think it's going to go. If it even continues on, you're hearing about Congress and being it blocked and all that stuff. So, just love to get your thoughts and opinions on this. What I thought was one of the bigger sports stories in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it really is, and I thought of it I'm not surprised it happened, and I'm not surprised that it happened sort of in the dead of the night. I've been telling some friends of mine and in interviews and all over the past few months, probably the past year, that when there's ever an agreement, we're gonna wake up one day and there's gonna be one. We're not gonna get much of an advance warning at all. It's just going to be. And I think that's basically what happened. And the first thing I really thought of was the former NFL commissioner Paul Tagliabue once said that all's well that ends.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of what Jay Monahan and his inner circle were hoping when they came to this, whatever you want to call it, a merger, an agreement, a compromise with PIF, that it was going to end there. And again, I think they've underestimated a lot of things. But you're right, we're really only at the beginning. We know a framework of a framework, and we don't know how much, if any, of the government is going to try to derail this. I think that all that aside, the tour had no choice but to come to the table because it was bleeding money. By its own admission, it was down it had already spent $150 million on a fight that it was not guaranteed to win, and there is really no definition of winning. I mean, what do you win? LIV is not going to go away.
Yeah.
Even if you win whatever it is you're trying to win through the courts or through Congress, that's not going to happen because whether you like it or not, or whether the tour or the tour's fan base, however you want to put it, whatever you think of PIF and the Saudis, they apparently weren't doing anything illegal in order to create LIV. You can talk to your blue in the face about where the money comes from and that sort of thing, but I think once you play that moral high ground, you can't come back from it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that Monahan and his inner circle have found out, that you can't really hold golfers to a higher moral standard than you're holding Western governments and Fortune 500 companies. So I think eventually, whether or not Congress gets involved or not, I think eventually there will be some sort of an agreement and a compromise to where we will have essentially one world governing body that presides over the professional tours, and then you would have other companies work inside those professionals that under that umbrella, much the same way you have, and not quite apples to apples, but much the same way you have the NFL is an umbrella for 32 separate companies.
Yeah.
They're all products within the umbrella that's known as the NFL or Major League Baseball. I think that's really what we're coming. What will eventually happen, and not to get too winded about it, which has already happened.
Yeah.
But I think the tour has now been fully immersed, or is about to be fully immersed into the world of professional sports, globalized professional sports, and that's something that it wanted to play in that sandbox for a long time, but it also wanted to be above that sandbox for a long time with things like, well, we're a gentleman's game. We call penalties on ourselves. We give so much money to charity. Well, all the professional sports do that. Okay, they just wanted to stay above. They wanted people to have the perception that they were above that. Well, now they've been dragged kicking and screaming into the sometimes dirty world of professional sports where you make strange bedfellows and you make agreements with people that you don't necessarily like in order to do one thing, and that's make money. And at the end of the day, this is all about making money. It's all about 100%. What's best for business. And I think as soon as everyone comes to grips with that, then the better off everybody will be, and we can all move forward from there.
Yeah, because like you said, I mean, I didn't even think about it when you were talking about the NFL and the Major League. I mean, yeah, it's one governing body with all these separate businesses, and golf has not been that. They don't have a players' association, all that stuff. But it had to happen eventually, and it's had to get kind of ugly a little bit for it to move forward. But yeah, even listening to Adam Scott the other day kind of talk about it, and he'll say, time makes a difference. They obviously feel backstabbed, but it's going to be hopefully for the greater good of the sport, and just kind of catching it up or bringing it back to, however you want to say, to all the other major global sports out there.
Yeah, and I think we have to look at it too, like this is a professional sport. This is not necessarily quote unquote the game. I think that's where everybody sort of misses the boat too. It's like when they were saying, well, this is not good for the game. Well, I think as well as anybody up there, people aren't canceling tee times based on live golf.
Yep.
They're creating more tee times. You're selling more golf balls than you have in 15 years, the manufacturers are. Nobody's canceling tee times or buying less equipment, buying less balls because of this. Don't think of professional golf as the game of golf. Those are two separate things. Professional golf is a TV show.
Yep.
Just like the NFL is a TV show. It's professional sports. It's made to do one thing, and that's to make money.
And it's one of the golf is one of the few, I can't really think of another one off the top of my head, where you do have this entire other part of it, the game of golf, which I love how you broke that up between the two. The game of golf, which is directly, indirectly impacted by the professional sport or whatever it may be, whereas football and basketball, people play football, they play growing up and kids and all that, but no one at 50 years old is going and playing in professional or in basketball leagues 4 times a week and all that. So it's different because you have the whole game side of golf, and the more you see it on TV, the more ads that are being run, the more for us in the green grass side of things, that's why I was always like, when Live came out, I said, I don't really care. I can get past all the, everybody got so upset about where the money comes from, but if you can trace that money to almost everything that you do in life. And I was like, it's good for golf because more people are talking about golf and more people are seeing it. They're going to want to play more. And if you're in green grass golf or you're an instructor, that's obviously a good thing. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And certainly golf has gotten more visibility over the past 2 to 3 years because of this than it ever has before. And unfortunately, even media types and sometimes mainstream media types, and if you look at a couple of the releases and statements, even from the PGA Tour, people still can't differentiate between what is the PGA of America and the PGA Tour, which drives me absolutely crazy.
We've talked about that at length on this show because that is such a misconception out there.
But I think one of the other things that you mentioned, Ryan, that's very interesting, that is sort of an offshoot of this, and when we talk about the game, the professional game and the game as we play it and as your customers, they play it too. Golf is the only professional sport that allows an outside entity to create the rules that it goes by.
Yeah.
By that, I mean the USGA and the RNA. It's like these are two self-appointed governing bodies. Nobody died and made them king.
Yeah.
There are no statutes that say you have to follow those rules. But we'll see how all of that plays out with, when everything shakes out with PIF and the PGA Tour and things things moving on as far as exemptions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's certainly been, if you're in the golf space, it's certainly been an interesting topic and a lot of things to figure out and unpack and all that stuff. We are joined by Steve Pike. He's the owner, editor of Spikes Golf and Travel. So kind of your bread and butter, Steve, is the travel golf aspect of things. And I know obviously since COVID and all that, golf has gotten a huge boom. I know here in Florida we've got tons of people moving to the state every day, traveling every day. So how's kind of the state of that travel golf? Let's call it the buddies trips and all that stuff. You see so much more on social media now than you ever used to, geared towards these traveling and the buddy trips and all that stuff. So just give us a little bit about how that's looking right now.
I think it's at its high water mark and only reaching more markets, getting higher as it were. There's more and more of the high end golf resort destinations. These premier bucket list destinations coming online every year. It seems the latest among the latest this year in December will be is expected to be Cabot Citrus Farms over near near Tampa in the Brooksville area, which was the old, I'm sure you're aware, Ryan, the old Worldwoods Golf Club.
Yeah, yep.
Cabot Golf and Dream Golf and the Kaisers are involved in that, are renovating those two golf courses and basically creating a golf village within that space with Kyle Franz and Mike Nuzzo just renovating those golf courses. So that's going to be spectacular. Tom Doak's Lido course at Sand Valley is opening this month, and it's fun for golf historians to even read about the Lido golf course, which was on Long Island in the early 20s and is no longer there anymore. It's one of the legendary golf courses in the country that no longer exists, that Tom Doak and the Kaisers are bringing back to life almost through a time machine, as my friend John Steinbrenner would have called it, at Sand Valley.
That's going to be awesome.
So you have all of these high-end courses that they started out with Bandon Dunes and then Sand Valley and then Whistling Straits in Wisconsin. My friend Johnny Morris at Big Cedar Lodge in Branson, Missouri, the golf courses there, they're fantastic. Pinehurst, obviously, is another one. All of these bucket list courses are now cropping up all over the country and are filled 2 years in advance.
Well, and it's almost seemed like from the outside looking in, if you build it, they will come kind of thing to a certain degree.
Oh, very, very definitely, and we're going to see that. Probably a little bit with PGA Frisco that just opened up in the Dallas Metroplex. And within the next couple of years, when a place called Rodeo Dunes, which is on the Front Range, 50 miles east of Denver, another development by the Kaiser family, opens up its first of potentially 6 golf courses with the Jim Craig course and another Corin Crenshaw course. So I think those are right now the future of the golf resort business. Certainly the high-end golf resort business lies with these high-end golf course resort properties and how you can get to them, how these companies can control their popularity to where you can still put everybody in there and manage that demand well. Whether it's at a place like Bandon Dunes, whether it's a place like the Dormy Network, who's building a course at Gray Bull now out in Nebraska, to go with the other courses out in western Nebraska. Those are sort of that's the future of golf. Probably for the next decade or so.
Yeah, which is
and I think it will help places in the Panhandle where you're at too, because what's the phrase? It's a high tide raises all ships. So
I've heard
What's
some
popular is going to be popular regardless, really, of where it's at.
That's right. And I've heard some rumors. Hey, Steve, we got a break coming up. Do you mind if we hold you over for one more? Because I've got a few more questions I'd love to ask you for sure. We're joined by Steve Pike. He's the owner-editor of Spikes Golf and Travel. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We will be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Blast at Bay Point, starting Monday, June 26th. Listen to Win Your Tee Time at the legendary Bay Point Golf Club in beautiful Panama City Beach. Listen weekdays at 8:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to play high-low for a chance to win 18 holes at Bay Point Golf Club. Plus, all contestants instantly win a large bucket of balls on the driving range. Listen to Win the Blast at Bay Point from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Hi, I'm Tracy, your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to be helpful and to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Pick your sparkle and use our easy layaway plan. Every woman deserves an exquisite diamond from your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We don't work on commissions.
We work for smiles and I-dos.
So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, stop by and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. Keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot. Goddamn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
I sure hope Beth's listening because today the music is on point. That's for sure. J-Dub was wearing his gator boots during the wedding out there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw that or not.
No, I did not.
He was looking fly.
Nice.
You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. We are joined on the line again by Steve Pike. He's the owner-editor of Spikes Golf and Travel, headquartered down there in Florida. Steve, again, appreciate you joining us this morning. I was kind of thinking when you were talking about all these travel destinations, and you know, I would. Is it fair to say that Bandon Dunes is kind of like the original, like what really kind of got this travel golf going? I mean, overseas golf and all that stuff's always been big. Pinehurst has been big, but you think Bandon kind of set it into overdrive? Is that fair to say?
Oh, I think it definitely set it into overdrive. I think before that there were the storied places such as Pinehurst and the Greenbrier, the Homestead, places like that. But Bandon certainly brought it to the next level, just in terms of what you can call destination golf, where these people where particularly males, but golfers are making the trek to what were once remote areas to do nothing but play golf.
Well, that's what's crazy about a lot of these destinations is if those golf courses weren't there, people would never be going there. Yeah. And so my follow-up question to that, with social media being as much as it's grown in the last 10 to 15 years, do you think if we didn't have social media and the access to this information and the pictures and people posting from at these places, do you think the travel golf wouldn't be as popular as it is?
It probably wouldn't be as visible as it is, and it probably wouldn't certainly be as accessible, you're right, to as many people. I think what we would have is sort of what we had 20 to 25 years ago, we would still have more golf magazines, more golf travel magazines, and the golf magazines that exist would have more pages than they do now.
Yeah.
And they would have more pages with more endemic advertising. We would see more about them in golf and travel magazines and periodicals than we do now, because the switch has been made to social media, where, back in the day, as we would say, that the leading golf magazines mostly were 200 pages, a little over maybe 200 pages each. Now they're barely 100.
Yeah, that's a great
the
point.
endemic advertising doesn't really exist in too many of them. So I think you just made the switch. Those advertisers or those eyeballs probably have gone from magazines to social media.
So, hey, Steve, just real quick, Jay here in the studio. So 2022, 2023, every year there's a top 100 course magazine that I get in the mail, and I look forward to it every year. Kind of looking through all of that, the 7 out of the top 10 100 golf courses are up in the Northeast. What do you think that's contributed? I know that obviously these clubs up in the Northeast are, over 100 years old, but I guess if you wanted to describe kind of how you rate golf courses, and how does these clubs get this top 10 rating that each and every year?
Particularly the ones that are in the Northeast, having lived in the Northeast, and a little bit familiar with how all of that's done. They all have the stories of the classic golf course designers, whether it's a Tillinghast, a C.D. McDonald, someone like that. But when you think about what they also all have in common, they each have caddy programs.
Ah.
And the raters and the magazines and the people who do the ratings, they love caddy programs.
Okay.
So I think in order for you to get certainly in the top 10 or to get highly ranked, you need to have some sort of a real full and robust caddy program.
Do you think that comes from like a customer service standpoint, where the caddy is able to kind of give the golf writer more detail about the golf course, about the natural surroundings and things like that? Do you think that also contributes to it?
I think that contributes to it, but I think just having it available is a big part of it, because golf is seen as such a traditional sport, and caddies are part of that program. Caddies are part of that sport. They're in the fabric of that sport. So if you don't necessarily have a caddy program, then you're perceived as, well, not really being, within the fabric of that sport, regardless of how good your golf course might be. There's going to be outliers and exceptions to everything. But I think one of the main things that each of these clubs have is a robust caddy program.
Yeah, I could see that. So, out of all the golf courses that you played, I would definitely like to know what was your favorite out of all of these.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Probably a tough question.
That's sort of asked, who's your favorite child? It almost depends on.
If you only got one, that's easy.
Yeah, that's true.
If you got multiples, then it gets a little dicey.
It sort of depends on where you're at. Last month I was at Pinehurst, and Pinehurst number 2 is it doesn't get a whole lot better, if better at all, than that Pinehurst number 2. It's interesting when people ask what your favorite golf course is versus what's the best golf course you've ever played is, because those could be two different things. Pinehurst number 2 checks the boxes in each. But I would say that if I was going to Ireland, I would play at Royal County Down. You would crawl to play at Royal County Down. You would crawl to go to Scotland to play at the Elsa course at Turnberry. LA Country Club, where the U.S. Open was, it's a great golf course if you like golf course design. I'm not convinced it was a great U.S. Open course, but it's a fun course to play. Yeah. And if you like golf course design, it's terrific. So it sort of a matter. I think it depends on what your criteria is. I love the plantation course at Kapalua.
Yeah.
I think the Straits course at Whistling Straits in Wisconsin is spectacular. I love the Pacific Dunes course at Bandon Dunes. People there, everybody has a favorite Bandon course. Mine is Pacific Dunes. It's just a matter of down where I live, and it's a matter of, again, in the eye of the beholder in terms of golf course design. I love Donald Ross golf courses, Seminole. It's built on two ridges, on two big sand ridges. The design is phenomenal. So it just is a matter of what you're looking for in a golf course and that particular day. I think it changes day to day.
Yeah. So me being 42 years old, I've always dreamt about going to Scotland. Let's just say my budget is, not on the high end. Let's just say it's
don't go.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
Do you recommend a poor man's? I wouldn't even call it poor man's, but like a western, like Bandon Dunes. Do you go to Bandon Dunes before you decide to take the trip to Scotland? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say, all things being equal, it's probably easier to get to Scotland from where you and I are at than it is to get to Bandon Dunes.
Okay.
Okay. But I would probably, if you had the choice of one or the other, I would probably do Bandon, just because it's all self-contained right there.
Yeah.
And when you're in Scotland, you have to move around a lot.
Okay.
To go from St. Andrews to Elsa to Crail, certainly up to Machrihanish, now Carnoustie and St. Andrews are pretty close, and Troon is on the other side. So you're traveling a lot in Scotland and you're traveling a lot in Ireland. If you want to stay someplace, just go to a destination and stay there for 6 days and play. A place like Bandon, a place like Big Cedar Lodge in Branson, Kohler in Wisconsin. Those places are great. Those are the places that I would suggest that you go.
Yeah, because, it's like I'm talking to my buddy, and we keep talking about going to Scotland, and he's like, well, let's save up some more money. By the time we keep saving up more money, I may be 60, 65, and at that point, I'm limping. You got to walk over there, right? There's no carts. Is that correct?
No, there's basically no carts.
Okay.
And, no, you have to walk. You have to... and you have to do what the caddies tell you to do. But fortunately, I was going to say, the old course itself is pretty flat, so you don't have to worry about that. But there are other courses over there that aren't quite as flat.
Yeah.
If you just wanted to go over there to Scotland and play at the old course and then go to King's Barnes, that would be a way. That would be a good introduction to Scotland golf. I think maybe Carnoustie, the old course, and to King's Barnes, and to the Castle course in St. Andrews. That's a week's worth of golf right there that introduces you to Scotland golf. And when you're over there, you're going to learn more about the other courses, up and down on each side, whether it's Royal Darnock, whether it's Crail, Machrihanish, places like that.
So, Steve, if somebody wanted to go about, planning one of these trips, what direction would you kind of send them in first? I know there's a lot of different travel agencies and stuff like that, and a lot of golf pros can set up trips where the pro might be able to get their stuff taken care of if they bring 12 people, 16, whatever it may be. So how would you direct somebody to get started on, say, they wanted to plan a trip to wherever it may be?
It's sort of the same way when people ask me, how do I get started playing golf? Well, you get custom set. I think so. How do you get started on a trip to Scotland? You go to a tour operator, like my friend Gordon Daglish at Perry Golf.
There you go. And they kind of plan out.
They can set up about any kind of trip that you want. And they've been doing it for so long, and they're Scottish, so they know everybody and they know the ins and outs of everything.
Yeah.
Go to a custom travel agent, certainly something like Perry Golf, and tell them what you want, and they'll have a program that fits your needs.
So definitely, if you're doing that, that's not one of those things you can kind of try to figure out and plan yourself. You have to have somebody like that has all the connections and the knowledge to make that trip a success.
I think so, because, again, I mean, transportation is not all that difficult around there, but you're driving on the wrong side of the road, you know, and in order to get from one place to the other, you still have to know how to do that, even with the GPS. So it's easier to do it, and as I say, let them do the driving for you, or let them set up all that transportation for you, so you know where you're going to be every day, and you're not just flying by the seat of your pants. Well, we need to get from here to here. How are we going to do that? Well, you know every day how you're going to do that.
Awesome. Hey, Steve, we got our top of the hour break coming up here. We're definitely going to have to get you back on if you'd be willing to do that. Just one real quick note before we go. I'll put you on the spot. Who do you got for the Open over there at Royal Liverpool?
I'm going to go with the easy. I'll cop that and go with John Rahm.
Ooh, nice.
He's by far the best player in the world right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Steve, very, very much appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. We definitely got to get you back up to Bay Point at some point, no doubt about that.
Anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Have a great weekend. That was Steve Pike. He is the owner and editor of Spike's Golf on Travel, and as you could tell, an expert on golf travel. He's played all over the world, and if you ever need some advice on how to get a trip going, he's certainly one that can get you started, that's for sure.
Perry Golf.
When we get back, we'll be in the top of the hour heading to some afternoon delight. Who knows what we're going to talk about? It's Friday, so we'll find out when we get back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
That's what's so great about playing sports is, like, you know, you have an opportunity to, you know, hit and win a game or catch a football or throw a football or make a game-winning shot in basketball. You're either somebody who wants to be in that moment or somebody who doesn't want to be in the moment. And the people that are want to be in that moment are the ones, you know, we end up
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For this afternoon and evening, possible thunderstorms and mostly sunny and a high of 83 with a 10 to 15 miles per hour wind out of the southwest. Partly cloudy skies tonight, a light breeze and warm near 77. A likelihood of thunderstorms in the morning and afternoon, followed by mostly sunshine, and 84 tomorrow. 85 and mostly sunshine with a gentle breeze Sunday. This is your Friday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
My doctor prescribed me Viagra. It wasn't covered by my insurance, so it was costing me like $65 a pill. That's expensive.
Over 20 million guys like us use Viagra. Over a certain age, we just need it. I found a way to pay less than $3 a pill and get virtually the same effect of the $65 pill. I heard an ad just like this on the radio, called, and for $99, I got 40 generic versions of the $65 pill. Save yourself money and call right now and get over 40 pills for $99. There's no embarrassment here to use Viagra. If we're over 50, we need it, but not at high prices. Call now with your credit card and get the 40 pill special for just $99.
Call 800-NEW-BLUE. 800-NEW-BLUE. 800-NEWBLUE. That's 800-NEW-BLUE.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida. You hear it first. Sports talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I know it seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. back. You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, bringing us in with the Starlight Vocal Band, some afternoon delight. You are listening inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast. And as always, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. Visit ESPNPC.com, click that Listen Live button, or you could download our free mobile app inside the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. That one you do have to search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, and you will find that out quick. Great stuff with Steve. I mean, if you want to play some travel golf or anything, and again, you can check out his Facebook page. It's that Spikes Speaks, I think is what it's called on his Facebook and social media. But
we were talking so much Scotland till I could almost taste the Guinness on my lips a little bit. I mean, it was just.
The only thing about that is you can go anywhere around here and get some Guinness if you want.
It's got to taste different over there, though.
It's
got to.
I don't know.
Yeah, after playing 18 holes of golf and you've walked and oh my gosh.
I wouldn't suggest doing what is it, a chulligan? What we talked about yesterday. If you hit a bad tee shot and in order to get another free ball, you got to chug a beer. Ooh. I wouldn't recommend doing that with Guinness.
No, I couldn't walk a straight line.
That might get a little dicey, especially out in the heat out there. Your dehydration factor may go quick, and you may be taking a little nap by the time you make the turn. But speaking of golf, don't forget, starting next week, it's ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Blast right there at Bay Point Golf Club. You and one other person could win a round of 18 out there. We're excited to get this contest kicked off. It starts Monday, which is June 26th. You listen live at 8:40, 12:40, and 5:40 on the three great local shows. Once you hear that cue to call, you'll give us a shout. Caller number 10 will automatically win a large bag of range balls out there. And then if you guess that correct high-low number, you'll win a round and a round of golf for you and a friend. We'll do that once a week for 6 weeks starting next week. We'll give away some rounds of golf and hopefully get some people out playing at Bay Point. What do you think about that,
That
Jay?
is awesome, man. Yeah, I can't wait.
And then since if they win a free round of golf, then you have a little extra money to spend some in the golf shop or get a lesson with you.
Whatever.
Visit golfwithjay.com.
Yep.
We hadn't talked about it yet, but this morning we had some action. Chris Kramer was talking about it on the show yesterday. They did it once before, right, in the afternoon. Now, was that parents and kids or was that just kids?
That was...
Was it just kids?
What? Oh my gosh, Ryan, you put me on the spot.
I put you on the spot every day.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
The crowd is shocked.
No, it was kids. It was a two-person kids scramble, and that was the one where I refereed it and went out, and we had neighborhood kids over on hole 8, just like watching. It was so cool, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they kind of did it again, and we're going to try to maybe grow this thing, make it a little more public. This is kind of a little event they just did, but they dubbed it the Bash at Bay Point Father-Son Scramble Tournament Summer of 2023.
Yep.
So there's 6 two-person teams out there. It's a father and son. They're playing a two-person scramble. Obviously, the winner will take home the trophy. That I saw Chris bring in that trophy earlier. So I want to get your thoughts on who you think's going to take this one. You've got the team of obviously Chris and Christopher Kramer. You've got the team of Eric and Carson Berry, and you teach most of these kids, so you got a little bit of inside information. You got Brian and Trip DeCernia, Graham and Darren Halligus, Max and Max McCord, Jr. and Senior, and then Mark and Easton McKinney. Who you got? We watched all the first tee shots, so I've got one of the teams that I've got my money on.
Do you? Okay, yeah, we did watch the tee shots.
I watched both of Chris's tee shots. And
I tell you what, Tripp and Brian, I did not know that Brian hit the ball that good.
After watching both of those tee shots he hit, I was like, if he swings like that all day, they'll be just fine.
And Tripp playing from the 4 tees, I mean, he's got major advantage. He's probably one of the longer ones in the group.
Probably one of the older ones, too,
and one of the older ones. But I've also have some inside scoop on Chris Kramer sending me text of Christopher hitting into the net constantly. I mean, he is all about golf right now, and so he's got his game right and tight right now. So we'll see. I don't know. I want to put my money on Tripp and Brian for sure.
Okay, so we're gonna cap this thing. We're gonna say Tripp and Brian are. That's probably too much. I'm gonna say minus 150 for Tripp and Brian.
Okay.
What do you think about Chris and Chris?
They come in second.
So, okay. All right. Well, I was going to, after watching Dr. Berry and his son kind of really taking a lot of time warming up, spent a lot of time on the putting green out there, and then watching their form chipping, I'm going to take them for first place.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to cap them at minus 100. I'm going to say Chris and Christopher are even money.
All right.
Just no on there. And then I don't really know about the Halliguses in their golf game.
Not sure about that. Max McCord came up to me before they teed off and said, we're winning this thing. So
confidence is key.
Confidence is key. And Max will put in a 20-footer on you in a heartbeat. He's clutch. So, yeah, you got to put the McCords up there as well, Ryan.
All right. So here's what I got, because I don't know some of them. I'm going to go with the favorite, Tripp and Brian DeCernia, minus 150.
Yep.
Chris and Chris Kramer, minus 100. The Barry, Eric and Carson, minus 100. Max and Max.
Yeah.
Max Senior, Max Junior. I'm going to say plus 100 on them, and then plus 150 on Mark and Easton McKinney. Although that's a sneaky team. I watched Mark hit that little baby cut off of one and put the ball in the perfect spot. Don't know what they did from there. I'm gonna have to go out and ride out when we get back to the golf club and check how this thing's going. And then I'll do, because I don't know, plus 200 on the Darren and Graham Halligus.
True. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So you've got your money on DeCernia. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna take the Barry, the team of Eric and Carson Barry.
Like it.
Yeah, you got to almost take the Kramers because, they's our studio sponsor and you got to support. But at the same time, we're going to see how this thing comes in. We'll report it on Monday. We're going to have the scoreboard up on the big TV and all that stuff. So there you go. It's been capped. We'll see what happens. Speaking of golf, the PGA Tour, the Travelers Championship is well underway. Got underway yesterday. And if you listened to Keith on Wednesday, I hope you did, he said it was going to be a birdie fest. And right now, Denny McCarthy, he is through... how many holes is he? He's through 16 holes on his second round. He shot a smooth little 10 under par yesterday. Pretty fantastic there, and he's already off to a great start in round number 2. So it's a par 70, so he shot 60 and had an opportunity to break that coveted 60 and made a couple pars coming in on his, he birdied the 9th hole, but he parred 4 out of his last 6 holes. So he was on a birdie run, but shot 30-30. Pretty sporty there, Jay. And he's he's 4 under on his round today. Not quite 10 under, but 14 under for the tournament after almost 2 full rounds.
Take a guess on that total purse, Ryan, if you're not looking at it.
If I'm not looking, this is an elevated event. Yeah. I'm going to guess this might be too high, but 20 million?
You're dead on it.
Well, I think because we've talked about what the purses are for elevated events before, I think they're all 20 million.
All 20 million.
I'm not 100% on that. I don't want to give myself too much credit, but yeah. and the U.S. Open just increased their purse to 20 million to kind of match those elevated events and all that. But yeah, 20. I think winner gets about 3.6 million, something like that. I think that's what these elevated events are, which was all kind of got there because of Live Golf Tour.
Yeah,
and they forced these prizes up, and like Steve said, the PGA Tour was bleeding money. You wouldn't think the PGA Tour was bleeding money, but to get these elevated events and these purses, without additional sponsorships and money, you got to spend it from your reserve. So
that's right.
Eric Cole, another gentleman that we talk about a lot, especially with Keith. He's been playing some great golf. He shot 64 in the first round, fired it up with a nice 65 this morning. So he's in second place at 11 under par. Then you've got Zach Blair and Adam Scott, both 10 under par, both finished for the day. Chesson Hadley with a 66-65 to be tied 5th with Lucas Herbert. And then Grayson Sigg. I don't know if you know that name, Jay.
I do.
Grayson Sigg. Did he play at Georgia?
I don't know if he did or not.
He might have. I know Grayson Sigg because he did play at Georgia.
Did he? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's from Augusta, and he played in that junior tournament that we talked about.
Yeah.
He used to play in that, which is crazy to see. He's 28 years old now, and I'm, obviously dating myself, but he was in high school back then when we were doing that tournament. But he's having a great tournament. He's 8 under par, tied 7th with Kevin Yu, Brian Harmon, another Georgia boy.
Yep.
He's also at 8 under par, finished for the day, and then Victor Hovland, your boy, also at 8 under par, shot a little 67-65 to be in the top 10. Rory McIlroy, this was pretty hard to believe. I know they talked about it on the Afternoon Underdog. I don't know if you guys talked about it on the Afternoon Underdogs or not, but Rory, do you know what he did yesterday, Jay?
What did he do?
That's why I'm asking you.
No, I want to know.
You don't know?
No.
Oh, man.
What did he do?
David knows.
What?
He aced a hole, first time in his career.
First time in his career.
PGA Tour.
Oh,
yeah, in a tour event, which that right there
That's
shows how
crazy.
difficult it is to make hole-in-ones. If, arguably one of the best players in the world for a long time makes his first hole-in-one in a tour event. I'm sure he's made a bunch, just playing golf in general. But yeah,
we said it a few weeks ago. Tiger went 20 years without one, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. But
I think it just goes to show you a hole-in-one is a lot skill, but it's also a lot luck. It takes a lot, especially because the flag stick's in.
Yeah.
And if you could pull the flag stick, it'd probably go in more often. But yeah, you can't run. I mean, you could. You'd have to run all the way up there, pull it out, and then hit. But yeah, he aced the par 3 8th hole yesterday, his first PGA Tour career, 214 yards. Playing the 5th hardest hole that day, and just dropped it in the jar.
Wow.
Pretty exciting. How many hole-in-ones have you had, Jay?
I've had 2, and they've all been out at Bay Point at the Old Meadows course, and then number 10 at the Nicholas. So yeah,
oh yeah,
2.
That is in recent times.
That was recent.
Well, yeah. So both your hole-in-ones came here at Bay Point.
Yeah,
and on each course. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had. How
about you, Ron?
I've had 2 as well.
Oh, okay.
It's been quite a long time. They were both. They both came within like a 6-month span when I was actually playing a lot of golf.
Yep.
I want to say my last one. I was with Beth at the point, or my second one. No, they were both. One was at another golf course I didn't work at, which was a lot of fun. It was a place called Patriot. Was it Patriots Point? No, not Patriots Point. Patriot Golf Club in 96, South Carolina. Great golf course. Hosts the Big South Conference Championships, but certainly out in the middle of nowhere. Just a great track, fun to play. But the one par 3 green was extremely sloped. The pin was kind of down on the bottom, and I played a great round of golf that day. I think it was our 3rd or 4th hole. A couple of members, we went out, played a round of golf, and hit it up on that right side, just slowly. This was for my first one. Slowly watched it trickle, and then it just disappeared. Very, very exciting.
It is so cool.
Yeah, mine was at 18 Pirates Cove. Got $50 in a free round of golf after that.
I think that might be harder to do than actually get a real one.
I don't know. I did actually do that.
They make those last ones tough. There's no doubt. But no, it was fun. And then a couple months later, had another one.
Oh no, I was gonna go kind of off track there, or not off track, but talk about Rory McIlroy. We were talking about that with Alan yesterday, and the one thing that stood out to me is how excited he was for Michael Block when Block dunked it.
Yeah,
and I had not known that Rory had never had an ace before, and then just to see his excitement like that was really cool.
So there's a theme happening here, and it's this positive off-course stuff happening, right? So Victor Hovland caddies for his guy, in the U.S. Open qualifier. Well, we got Rory, basically, or not Rory, I'm sorry, Ricky Fowler, signing autographs till midnight. What did we just talk about like 2 seconds ago? Yeah. I mean, like all this positive stuff, right?
Positivity,
man.
Positivity
It comes
breeds
back to
positivity.
It comes back to
That's
you.
right.
Yeah.
You got a choice every day you wake up.
There you go.
Positive or negative.
Yep.
What do you choose, Jay?
Positive.
Positivity.
Let's do it.
Yes, and hole-in-one's hard to come by. We have a lot out there at Bay Point. And we always give somebody a flag. And I was going to tell this story. We used to have, before the hurricane, it's always before the hurricane, when we had 2 golf courses, we also had the Swing Kings, which was, we had 2 cameras. We had a camera set up. I saw David's face when he said Swing Kings. We had the camera set up behind number 2 on the Nicholas, and a camera set up behind number 16 on the Meadows course. 16. And every person who paid, the members could do a thing to get in it, but every person that came out and played a round of golf at Bay Point, it included a $2,500 hole-in-one contest. Now, you could pay us $5 at the counter to upgrade that to $5,000, or for $10 more, you could upgrade it to $10,000. We did have one person do it on the Nicholas course on number 2 during, up until the hurricane, and they won the $2,500, and it was cool.
That's cool.
Did y'all say, all right, this contest is over?
Well,
now.
it doesn't come from us.
Okay,
it's like an insurance thing. Yeah, exactly. So, because we actually, a portion of the round went to, eventually make it happen. But what's cool is after the fact, you could get a video from it, because they could pull it out and make a video and send you. But one of the cooler moments, I still have it on my computer at work, the one on the Meadows course, number 16. Now, you had to be 18 or older to be eligible to win it. But we had a dad and his son playing a late twilight round, and they're out there playing 16. And we didn't know about it because it was late in the day, but we found out that the kid actually made a hole-in-one on 16. Didn't count to win the prize because he wasn't 18 years old, but we went back and they got the video for him. But when we watched the video, you watch him hit it, and then you see it bounce, and go in, and then you just see the kid and his dad just going nuts. And it was, I got to find that video. It was so awesome because it's a moment that doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't. And one of the things that I can relate to, I think, after I had those 2 hole-in-ones, I got so close for like the next few days after. It's almost like you can visually see the line, and then I haven't got close since. But anyways, I mean, you just kind of, that could be confidence maybe. I don't know.
I think some people got that old golden horseshoe, stuck up their tuckus as well, because we had a member at Mount Vintage, his name was Chuck Smith. In my time there, the 8 years that I worked there, I think he had 6 hole-in-ones, and he had like 17 in his golfing career.
Heard these crazy
and
stories.
It's like, it was like every other couple months, he'd be like, oh yeah, Chuck Smith had another hole-in-one. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
I think some people just have that, like I said, have that horseshoe somewhere that makes them a little extra luckier. Because obviously, he was a low 90s golfer. It's not like he was a scratch golfer or anything.
I bet he played every day too.
He did. He played.
See, there you go.
It increases your chances when you play more rounds of golf. It's like playing the lottery. If you play one ticket every 6 months, your chances aren't that good.
That's right.
But if you play golf 5 days a week and you have a course with 4 par 3s, that's a pretty good opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We've had a few hole-in-ones during the unfortunate years. Was in a tournament, but there was no prize on that hole. But always cool to have a hole-in-one in general, especially your sack. It's cool you had them both at Bay Point.
It was.
You've been playing golf,
forever. Yeah,
forever.
Yeah.
Some people go their whole lives without making a hole-in-one.
Yeah,
and I think it's when you least expect it.
It is
when it kind of jumps up, because a lot of times you're like, it'd be great to have a hole-in-one on this hole, but then it just completely leaves your mind, and it just kind of sometimes happens.
Well, the first one that happened pre-Michael was I remember a couple of people coming out of their living rooms over on number 1, 2, 3. Like, is it number 4, the par 3?
Number 3.
Or number 3.
Because 1.
Or, 3 was the dogleg right of the Meadows. 1, let's see. No, hold 1, 3. Is it, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm like 100%.
Okay. Well, it's the first par 3 you come to on the
number
Meadows.
3. Because then number 4 and then number 5 is the long par 5. Then 6 was a par 3. 7's the dogleg right. 8's the dogleg going to the road. 9, 10, 11.
Okay,
run down.
so it was 6. It was 6.
Okay, it was the second par 3.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's the second par 3. Oh, yes. Thank you. But anyway.
The course has been gone for like 5 years.
It has.
I'll give you a pass on this one.
But, I mean, my first reaction was I was running up and down the fairway. I mean, I was just like.
Who were you playing with?
Terry Rickinen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Me and Terry were out playing.
Nice.
And so we had people coming out of the living room going, "Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "Oh." And then the second one, when I was with Tip in that tournament, and it was almost like, did that just kind of happen? And I was just in shock.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of stood there, and they're like, "You're not celebrating." I'm like, "Oh, I'm just still in shock."
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. No, it's a good two emotional reactions there.
There you go.
One complete, and it just you got that one out of the way, and the next one you're like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I make hole-in-ones all the time.
no,
part of it. Yeah. But there's lots of crazy hole-in-one stories out there. But cool to see Rory get his first one in competition on the tour. Another cool fact, Scotty Scheffler, arguably he's number 1 in the world right now, playing some unbelievable golf. Yesterday, after his round of 63, he's 203 under par for the 2023 season. That's 48 shots better than any other player on tour right now.
Jeez.
And what's crazy, like he said, he's 120th in putting on tour. So he's that many under par with not being one of the best putters currently on the tour. Imagine if he just cut that in half and was like the 75th best putter on tour. How many more birdies that would mean?
No doubt.
And how many more tournaments he won. So it's just, you can't bet against Scotty. He goes out there. I know he was in the afternoon wave yesterday. So I don't know if he's teed off. No, he shot 70 today. Shot even par. So that's what's crazy in these tournaments where you got to make a lot of birdies. He goes and shoots 63 the first round, and then shoots even par in the second round, and he drops 12 spots because of that.
Does he get kind of I sometimes forget him when I'm thinking. Do you ever forget? I forget him sometimes. I don't know why.
I can feel that just because he's
just forgettable.
Yeah, he's kind of a ho hum guy. Goes about his business, and he's Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
But he just keeps going about and wins a bunch of golf tournaments.
So who's the most unforgettable guy on tour right now? Is there anybody that you could? I mean,
that's a good one. We got to take a break, and when we get back, I want to jump into that question too, because I also want to ask you about your favorite golf course or the best golf course in your mind that you've ever played. On the heels of talking to Steve this morning from Spike Speaks, you are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I think we might have a pretty cool intro song coming back in on this next one, but we'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The afternoon underdogs.
Wyndham Clark, though, winning the U.S. Open 10 under. He was 241st in the world last year, the day after the 2022 U.S. Open. But since then, he's won twice, and he's won more than $8 million in earnings just in the last 6 weeks here. What'd you think of Wyndham Clark?
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. A possibility of thunderstorms and some sun the remainder of the day with a moderate breeze at 14 miles per hour out of the southwest and temps near 83. We will have partly cloudy skies tonight and be warm at 77. And a possibility of thunderstorms in the morning and afternoon, but otherwise some sun tomorrow and a high 84. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Exchange at the Beach is a new luxury apartment community located on the Upper Grand Lagoon neighborhood on Thomas Drive. They feature some of the largest square footage for their 1 and 2 bedroom apartments with a state-of-the-art fitness center, gaming area with a pool table, foosball, and table tennis. They also have a stunning pool with comfy day beds, outdoor fireplace, and gas grilling station. Exchange at the Beach between NAS Panama City and St. Andrews State Park.
Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, this is Tim.
Do y'all sell bait?
Yes, we seasonally stock live shrimp, live bull minnows, live sand fleas, live fiddler crabs, earthworms, night crawlers, crickets. We also stock frozen shrimp, sand fleas, mullets, squid, pre-rigged ballyhoo, bonita, stingray, cigar minnows, Boston mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and a few other miscellaneous baits. It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions. Your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Chicken, chicken. Chicken heads. Chicken heads. Chicken, chicken.
Should have let that one play, Jay. Again, I don't know if there's any other sports show out there in this country that's got Chicken Head coming in, and that's really thanks to you that you didn't even realize what you were doing.
No.
You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, obviously.
Right.
But no, yesterday we had a segment that we came in with Mike Jones back then,
right.
And I was joking around with you a little bit, and then you had said Chicken Head during that, and then I showed Beth that clip last night, and she's like, Jay knows Chicken Head? She's like, I'm so proud of him. I was like, we got to get that show on there coming in, and then we come in before we get on the air this morning. That's not what you were referring to.
No, it wasn't. It was far from it. Yeah.
But which is great, because now we have Chicken Head bringing us in here at the 12:20 hour here in the Florida Panhandle, Central Time Zone. So.
I was just imagining Beth cruising down the road, and she was just doing the Chicken Head, just up and down.
That's definitely happening, except she's flying around out there.
There you go.
So that Chicken Head's probably going a little bit faster.
There you go.
Oh, the potholes would be pretty funny then.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
But Chicken Head you were referring to was a guy you used to work with in the AC business.
Right.
And he'd kind of be working on stuff, keeping his head on a swivel, making sure nobody's trying to, come on his back or anything like that. And he'd pop his head up and down like a chicken.
We called him Chicken Head.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Full circle.
There you go.
Full circle. You never know what you're going to get here on the Inside Drive. That is for sure. We talked to Steve Pike earlier about travel golf and all that stuff, but that brings me to a question I want to to ask you, Jay, what's one of your favorite golf courses, or the favorite golf course, the best golf course you've ever played?
Well, I think we may have talked about it about a month ago with Chris Kramer in studio, but I did get an opportunity to, and I'll never forget it, but to play Augusta National.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in December of 2002. And what an experience that was, man. I mean, it was great. It was just cold, and but other than that, it was just a great experience. I remember everything. I mean, I actually remember watching Eminem the night before, the 8 Mile. I remember watching 8 Mile.
That's right. We were talking about, was it yesterday we were hitting up on the Eminem with the performance anxiety?
I think so, yeah.
So you're walking up to Augusta, you got to go through the gates and security and all that stuff, and, you probably couldn't have your Beats by Dre on, but channeling your inner Eminem as you're getting ready to tee off on one.
So it's kind of crazy because I go with a group of guys. You got to play with the members, kind of what we're talking about, right? A member in every group, and we get debriefed across the street from Washington Road, and we can see the gates, and we got one of our Augusta members going, okay, now guys, you can't talk about initiation fee, you can't ask who's members here. I mean, and I'm like, sir, yes sir, yes sir, and
Just don't get me kicked off.
Yeah, just don't get me. Yeah. So what does Jay do? Jay, this is back before the driving range was a full 350 yards. You had the net that
abutted right up to Washington Road. Yeah,
and it was maybe 225 to hit the net or whatever. Well, so what does Jay do? Jay hits driver over the net into Washington Road, and one of the caddies comes down and goes, "Sir, you can't do that." And I'm like, here I am already in trouble at Augusta National.
Not even there an hour, and you're already getting reprimanded. Yeah, that sounds about right, though. Not surprising.
I'm thinking the day's over with at that point.
You're like, I'm out.
I'm out.
But I was on the grounds.
Yeah. So Fleming Norville, who was a member there at the time, and he was our sponsoring member, but what a great experience. We play 18 holes, shoot 37 on the front side, and not so good on the back, but the back is just so hard. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard. But, so come back in, and, you got a white tablecloth, tables, and, you order lunch. And so I order the hamburger, and I douse it with ketchup and mustard. And, so I go, and, there's like 20 guys sitting around, and we're at, eating lunch at Augusta National. I go and bite into my hamburger, and the mustard and the ketchup ends up all over the white tablecloth.
This is as much of a Jay experience story than I could ever imagine.
Oh, my gosh. It was horrible. But so I'm trying to, get this. I mean, it was not good. I'm like,
I mean, you haven't been back since, I take it.
I haven't been invited back since.
Yeah. That'd be a great movie. Jay Does Augusta.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
What was your favorite hole out there, if you could choose one? It's a tough question.
Well, 2 was so great to me is because
you're a hooker.
Yeah, there you go.
That hole sets up beautifully for you.
Yeah, you got to hook it around the corner. And my caddy told me I had probably about 260, and he goes, Jay, let's just lay up here. And so I laid up to about 40 yards. And number 2 was a back right pin. It was a Sunday pin.
Gotcha. You got all that slope working down to that pin. Yeah.
And so you're down in this valley. I've got like a 40-yard pitch shot over that bunker. There's a pine tree, or used to be a pine tree 20 years ago, right in the center of the green, behind the green. And my caddy goes, Jay, I want you to hit towards that pine tree. And I go, man, that's 30 yards left. Yep. I mean, no way. He goes, trust me.
Yeah, you got to trust your caddies out there.
Oh, yeah. And so I do it, and I do exactly that. And the ball creeps down. It takes literally 15 seconds. So was it Oosthuizen that hit the bottom left corner?
Yep, he made the double
eagle. I mean, that took, I think they clocked that. That was like 19 seconds.
Yeah, it took forever.
From the time it hit the
dramatic.
green.
It was awesome.
And so my shot was the same way. It ended up to about 6 inches from the hole, but it took forever. And you could hear the group, because when there's 8, you got 4 players, 4 caddies. I mean, you've almost got a gallery right there.
Oh, yeah.
And so everybody was kind of like, oh, this is looking good. And so it ended up to like 3 inches and tapped it in for birdie. But that was really cool.
Yeah,
that
that's
was cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I love 2. 2's a great hole.
Yeah, the whole golf course is awesome, but 2 is a fun one, that's for sure. I thought you were going to say that story when the caddy said for you to lay up, and I thought you were going to say I didn't come to Augusta to lay up.
Yeah, you got that right.
But you still made birdie, and it's a very pretty, dramatic birdie.
And I did, and then number 9 was great because it was a back pin, and back then I was hitting the professional 90s. They would spin.
Oh yeah,
they would spin, and so
they were in the orangish, shiny box.
They were, yeah, absolutely. And so on a member day, they have beyond 9 green. There's like there was a little cart with sandwiches and stuff like that. So everybody's kind of gathered around there. So I hit back then. I mean, I had a gap wedge in or something. I mean, now today, I'd probably have like a 6-iron in to 9. But
I doubt it.
Yeah, I probably would. But I hit gap wedge to the very back of the green. It sucks back towards the hole, and like all those guys up on the top of the hill were just really like, man, this is good, And so I got this applause from like 20 people up top, and it was one of those moments where you felt like this is kind of a little bit about like what the Masters would be like,
totally.
So it was cool to have that experience. That's probably be the only experience I ever get, but it was so cool.
One experience that very, 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 very small percentage of the golfing population has ever experienced. So that's
but
special.
I missed that though. I missed 20 years ago where you could land it 30 feet beyond the hole and have to pull a string on it,
Well, it's just around here with Bermuda grass greens and, as warm as it is, Augusta hitting off, ryegrass fairways and to those bent grass greens. You could spin it. And a professional 90, that thing spun like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You get stuck that, but you put also the smiley faces in it, too, with your wedges.
And a cart path.
Yeah, and a cart path.
Yeah.
No cart paths out there at Augusta, though.
How about you, Ryan? What's your favorite?
You kind of peaked with the Augusta National story. I probably should have went first or let David go first with one of his mini golf places. But no, I've had a couple. I say the best course I've ever played is probably Sage Valley.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's the Weldon Wyatt course. The guy who built all the Walmarts for Sam Walton couldn't get into Augusta. He'll say it wasn't that reason, so he basically built his own Augusta National right across the river there in Graniteville, South Carolina. Absolutely stunning golf course. Conditions like Augusta. Great experience. Ate lunch. They take care of your shoes, all that stuff. And that was probably the nicest or best golf course I've ever played. I had an opportunity to play Pinehurst number 2 when I was in high school. One of my good buddies, he was the number 2 on our golf team. His grandparents lived at Pinehurst, so we'd go down there occasionally in the wintertime and went down there. We played 1, 3. I always love 7. 7's one of my favorite courses there. But then we were talking to his grandpa and we're like, hey, do you think, if we do a upcharge, can we play number 2? And, it was like so much. I called my parents like, can we do this? And we ended up doing it. And it ended up being, it was like 45 degrees and raining.
Ooh.
We were the only people out there playing on number 2. And at one point on one of the holes, there was ice forming on our golf clubs because it was so cold. But we said, this is our chance to play Pinehurst number 2. We are going to play it. So probably one of my biggest memories in golf. Had a chance to play a lot of really good golf courses. My favorite experience in golf was when I played the Ocean Course at Kiobah with my dad. And we've probably talked about this on the air before, but it was just an awesome thing. I was in the Carolina section at that time, so reached out to the then director of golf out there, got me a PGA rate, extended that PGA rate to my dad, but it's normally walking out there on the Ocean Course, except in the afternoons.
Yep.
So, and my dad had some shoulder surgeries and stuff like that, so I kind of told him about that and then made the phone call. He made us a tee time. We were the last tee time in the morning, first tee time before the afternoon. They gave us a cart with a handicap flag, and it was just me and him and an awesome caddy and a golf cart and a handicap flag. We could pretty much drive anywhere we wanted to. And the caddy, it's my favorite experience in golf, period.
That's great.
Just to play that golf course with my dad. In that setting, it was windy as hell, and I played from the back tees, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
I think I ended up shooting 79, but
good.
It was a lot, just an experience that I'll never forget. And
17, that par 3 is just horrendous.
And I knocked it to about 3 feet and made the putt on that one.
Did you really?
Straight downwind.
Wow.
So I think it was like 230, and I ended up hitting a 6-iron because it was playing so short because it was straight downwind.
Yeah.
But then just crispy creamed one on 18, just like Rory did in the PGA Championship. Just a tight little draw over that corner. And but, it was a lot easier when you were going downwind. When we, 10, 11, 12, just brutal golf holes, and then into the wind. But just what a great experience. That's probably my favorite golf experience that I've had. I've had a chance to play Stream Song a few times.
Yeah.
Played Harbor Town, which is very difficult. Played TPC Sawgrass. One time's good enough for me. Those golf courses will kick your butt.
They will.
But yeah, been very blessed to play some cool golf course. All that happened earlier in my life. Haven't really been doing a whole lot of it lately. So
I'm still flabbergasted by how Hurricane Hugo comes through Charleston in '89, and then we do the War of the Shore at '91 Ryder Cup. I mean, the 2 years. I know there's not a lot of landscape there, but man, that was just, I guess that's how natural that golf course is. I mean, that's
exactly that. Yeah, it's completely natural. Obviously, I think they had to they resawed and all that stuff. They're, I want to say they're a Paspalum / Bermuda blend, which gets you the stripes, but still, because they, salt water, Paspalum's a salt tolerant grass. But yes, it's so natural that it just kind of, whatever happens, happens.
And that's the cool part about it, because I know with Steve, and that's what I wanted to talk to him about, and hopefully we can talk to him again soon.
We'll definitely get him back on.
But I remember having to give a tour guide to about 100 Golf Digest riders over at Sea Island back 20-something years ago. And I remember being kind of versed on what to say to these guys. And one of the things that I was versed on was make sure that you tell these people that this golf course is from its natural state. Like the natural sand dunes, like you'll see in the fairway, that Reese Jones didn't mess with them at all. And I think that's so cool about Golf Course Architect, is that if you can make it as natural as you can, that's the beauty of the game of golf. It's not man-made.
You've seen the design really kind of go that way.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years or so, kind of that minimalist golf design. It's not so much links. Obviously, links is a little bit different, fescues, no trees, and all that. But these, the Tom Dokes, the Campbells, the Core and Crenshaw, all these guys doing the Bandon Dunes, the Stream Songs, the Kaiser family doing the Sand Valleys and all these huge projects. It's very much minimalist golf, which is not only important from a construction standpoint, but like you said, when Mother Nature wreaks her havoc, you don't have as much to put back together.
Yeah.
And also from a financial and maintenance standpoint, if you don't have 90 acres of maintainable turf grass, that's a lot less expenses that you have to deal with if you're just dealing with tee boxes, fairways, and greens.
Yeah.
Which it's not so pretty, but if you understand that, PGA courses, they're always so beautiful and lush because they fertilize the crap out of them for 2 months leading up to them, water them, shut them down. So it's really unrealistic, which is why I love the minimalist style golf course.
Too.
Because not only is it really cool and unique and different, but it's, as an operator, it's a lot easier to deal with. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's almost like I kind of went on a little Love Golf Design tour. I kind of followed Love Golf Design for a few years because I was at Kinderloo Forest in South Georgia for a minute, and then the Love Golf Design came up and redesigned University of Georgia golf course for They didn't redesign it. They just basically kind of like new greens and a little bit of new contours. But there was a gentleman by the name of Bob Perry, and he was an older gentleman then, but he did not have any kind of diagrams. He would stand out on the golf course and basically just go talk to the guy on the bulldozer, and he would tell the bulldozer, basically where to move the dirt. So this guy worked for Love Golf Design and did not believe in any kind of design. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, totally.
No plans at all. It came from his head.
Yeah, which is a very different way to do golf course design. That golf course I was talking about earlier, it's Patriot at Grand Harbor. It's in 96, South Carolina. Okay. The one I got the hole-in-one on. It's designed by Davis Love.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, just great track. He had some of the old, they always leave like the ruins and stuff like that at some of his courses, and Davis Love's the one, he's designing the third course over there at the Waterside Club. So.
I've been following that over there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Definitely. I've also heard some rumors that the Kaiser family has been down in our neck of the woods looking at different areas, potentially doing something. So,
is that Kaiser Permanente? Is that the same family? No.
Mike Kaiser?
Kaiser? I don't know.
I just Kaiser Permanente is.
I've heard of that. Anyway. All right.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, but anyway, he's the one that did Sand Valley and like all these places, and so he's made a couple trips down here. So that could be a rumor, could be false, it could be true. I don't know, but that'd be pretty cool for the area.
It would be.
That's for sure. NBA draft happened last time. We've been talking golf pretty much all show, but NBA draft happened last night. I don't know if you caught any of that, but we talked a little bit yesterday on the show. You've got 5 out of the first 7 draft picks were not college basketball players.
Really?
Pretty interesting.
That is interesting.
And he was talking a little bit about Steve this morning about it because he's the one that, texted me last night about that. And so I asked him the questions like, okay, if you go play this professional, basketball, none of these guys went to college. They went right from high school to professional basketball. And, 5 out of the 7 got picked. And I was like, why do you think that really is? And he kind of brought up some interesting points. When you get into professional ball, I think it's potentially crafting you more to be ready for the NBA and what that travel schedule, your nutrition, your workout. Not that you're not doing that in college, because you certainly are. And he's one guy got drafted by, I think the Celtics drafted somebody from Nigeria. Yeah. And it may not work out, but in Steve's mind, I have a tendency to agree with it too. Is like you've got a lot higher ceilings with some of these guys because you just really don't know. Whereas the college guys, you kind of know where their ceiling is because they've been playing college ball and you've seen them. So I don't know if it's more of a gamble that can pay off when you get people from outside of the college realm, but obviously Victor Wembanyama, everybody knew was going to go first to the San Antonio Spurs.
Who was the guy? And I don't know who was the guy in the shiny designer. Did you see any of that this morning?
I didn't see any of it.
Grady Dick.
There you go.
Is that who it was?
Oh, and then that's what Fat Joe. I don't know if you saw we're not going to mention that on the air, but Alan had texted us at what Fat Joe had said. He played from Kansas.
It looked like
at Kansas.
It looked like the guy that was what was his name again, David? Grady
Dick.
Okay, I got you. He reminded me of what he was wearing. If you ever watched the National Lampoon's European Vacation movie,
have you not?
Rusty. You remember what Rusty was wearing when they went into the?
And he had the beret on too, right?
He had the beret on too. That's exactly.
Did this guy wear a beret?
He did not have the beret on, but it was very designer. He was rolling.
Well, you're about to get paid, so you might as well show out and look good. But interesting to see. Obviously Victor Wembanyama was the first one to go, and then a lot of people thought this was going to happen, and it did happen. The Charlotte Hornets took Brandon Miller second, played at Alabama, obviously a great player. And then the Trailblazers from Portland, they took Scoot Henderson. He plays in the PG in the G League Ignite. So he's another non-college player. And then Amen Thompson, or Amen, I don't know what it is, was taken by the Houston Rockets again, another overtime elite player, not college basketball player. Number 5, the Detroit Pistons took Asor Thompson, again from overtime elite.
They're identical twins.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
They're the highest drafted brothers in the NBA draft history. You did have Lamar and Lonzo Ball, who were both drafted in the top 5, but not in the same draft. So very cool stat there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Yeah. Is that this is an on-the-spot question? Is Brandon Miller the highest Alabama draft pick ever?
I'd have to go back. I know you got Robert Horry. You've got some other players that could be up there. So I'll have to check on that, but I know that I'm going to be getting me a Charlotte Hornets Brandon Miller jersey.
Oh,
why not, man?
Absolutely.
I want to get one of the old school purple ones.
Yes, that would be awesome. Like playing NBA Jam back in the day when, who was that?
Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson, yes.
Rice.
Yes. Oh,
Larry Johnson.
I always picked them because of the uniforms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just gotta get
I used to live there in Charlotte for a little bit, and so we would go to some Hornets games and stuff. So they got a little soft spot in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Man. And now you got the Alabama connection, so it only makes sense.
Yes, sir.
I know we ran a little bit over there talking about golf stories and all that good stuff, but it is Friday, so it's Fun Friday. We're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. We only got one more segment coming up. You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
The tradition continues tonight. The Atlanta Braves play the Cincinnati Reds. First pitch at 5:40 right after the afternoon underdogs. Then day games this weekend. Saturday coverage starts at 1:55 and a 12:40 first pitch on Sunday. Right here on your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
And now the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
We're going to have a talk.
Tell me what you know. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's a frantic noise.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Another good one. Yeah. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Jay, it's been a fun week.
It has.
It's been an entertaining week. Not a whole lot going on in the sports world, so we've been kind of shooting the breeze about a lot of different things. And looking forward to next week. The Bay Point Billfish Open gets underway. Make sure you check out lots of opportunities to come out there and park in different lots, and it's going to be a fun event coming up here real soon. If you're playing in the golf tournament, we'll see you next Wednesday. But if not, we'll be around all week, hopefully enjoying the Billfish as well, checking out some of the weigh-ins and the concerts. And like we said yesterday, they announced that first opening act for the concert on Wednesday night. I forget her name. It's Mackenzie something. I forget the name.
Yeah,
but,
she just debuted at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville this past week.
You would know about the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville.
I would. Yeah, big Hee-Haw fan from back in the day.
There you go. There you go. The big match is going on right now. You did mention you were listening a little bit this morning to the Coach James Hale show.
Yeah, I was listening to him this morning. I guess for Father's Day, Nick Saban had posted something on social media about him doing some sort of he was in a punch mode, kind of like
virtual reality boxing is a short way to put that.
There you go. Yeah, virtual. Okay, yeah. But it makes me sometimes wonder, because we haven't heard a Nick Saban interview in quite some time. But every time that I do hear Nick Saban, it kind of reminds me that he's kind of hanging out with Obama a little bit. Because if you listen to Obama, every time they ask him a question, he goes, look here, and then so when Saban gets interviewed, he's like, look, the defense is not that great, coming into the first half, but look, we're going to be, So I think maybe Saban and Obama are
maybe playing a little bit of golf.
They could be.
Very didn't know which direction you were going to go there, Jay, and that was certainly an interesting one. But
a direction only Jay can go.
That's true. That is certainly true. But yeah, it's kind of like when we have guests on the line, and you're like, "Hey, this is Jay Henley in studio." Like, yeah, no kidding, Jay. You're obviously in the studio. We can't take 2 calls at once yet. We're working on that, though. So I wasn't going to say anything, but then since you went to Saban and Obama and all that stuff.
You're hurting my feelings in here, Ryan.
Your feelings can't get hurt. We know that. That's for sure.
No.
So this weekend, starting tomorrow, you've got the College World Series Championship Series gets underway. Who do you thinking, Jay? I need to get your expert pick here.
Championship baseball, we got LSU, Florida.
Yes, I was going to ask you, do you know who's in the championship? And you executed beautifully.
I did. I do like the fact that Florida has the advantage because they've rested a little bit. But they may have had some time to kind of think about where they're at, and the performance anxiety may kick in a little bit more with Florida. So, however, I think it's going to be a great SEC matchup, like in any other sport, it seems, because I'm a big SEC fan. But you know what, though? I'm going to kind of switch a little bit. I'm going to go with LSU. I think they're going to continue on with what they got going on and just roll right through Florida.
Do you?
I do.
Even without their ace being available?
I just think it's their year.
Hey, sometimes it is just your year and that kind of stuff. I'm gonna speak a little differently on that. I'm actually been hoping that Florida was going to win because it did an early on futures with Florida in the beginning of this postseason baseball tournament. So now they're right on the cusp there. Obviously, a lot of pop in the bats for Gators. They're well rested. Some of their top players, Jack Caglione, he's batting .336 with 31 home runs, 84 RBIs, and just been doing really good. And he's also pitched very well as well. He's first baseman and left-handed pitcher.
Okay.
Big time player there. Wyatt Langford, he's batting .378, 18 home runs. Josh Rivera is batting .362, and then right-handed pitcher Hurston Waldrop is 9-3, just balling out. And LSU, they're going to have to figure out a way to slow down Florida's bats. With some of their pitching, and that's why there's an advantage when you go through that winning bracket and you don't have to play more than the games that you have to win. So, but again, you never know. LSU is certainly they got a lot of momentum with them. The Jello shot competition absolutely destroying records. I'm sure that the restaurant was excited that LSU is in the championship series. They're getting ever close to that 30,000 Jello shot mark. Wow. David, what are you thinking on the series this weekend?
It's going to be a fun one to watch. Really love to see the defensive prowess from both teams last night, and just a heck of a tank there from Tommy Tanks. When it comes down to Florida LSU, man, I really don't have an idea, because I think some of us thought last night that game was going to be high scoring and you only got 2 runs.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that, because yesterday when we made predictions, we said it was going to be a pitcher's duel, and I think, Jay, you said it was going to be, 23-21?
23-21.
That's a wild guess, but I got to love you for it, Jay.
You were really close. you were only off by, 2-0? So you were only off by 42 runs.
Both pitchers, their ERAs were like 1.6, right?
Yeah, which lends you to believe that there's going to be a lot of runs scored.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. Analytics, that doesn't mean anything.
No. He was thinking it was opposite day.
Yes.
Yesterday.
That's right.
Man, Florida's just been so far under the radar.
They really
for
have.
As good as they've been to be the number 2 seed. I really just want to see 3 games. That's what I want to see from it. Is I want to come in Monday, run the board for you guys, host the afternoon underdogs, and then go home and watch a banger of a game 3. I think that would be great. But LSU, to take down the number 1 seed, which again, the number 1 seed, hasn't won the whole thing since 1999. And in that year, it was a 1 versus 2 seed. But for LSU to have dispatched Wake Forest, who was playing really good baseball, that they got to be strong. And then here's my other thing is Florida, we could talk about the rest being a good thing, but we're talking about young kids. Yeah. We're talking, they really don't need the rest like that. So for me, I think LSU kind of riding the hot hand right now. I think LSU's going to win it on Monday.
I like that. I like it. I like that too, David. I just I think Omaha's great, but I think this is where it should de-embark. I think is that the right word? But we should disembark.
Like when you get off a cruise ship.
Yeah, we should disembark from Omaha and take this to Gainesville and Baton Rouge and showcase the colleges. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know.
I like that idea, but I disagree because they've played each other at each other's stadiums this year. You know what I mean? And you get to the College World Series. I want to see it there in Omaha.
Okay.
Yeah, $83 million economic impact. There'll be plenty of fans up there.
Yeah.
It's just going to be Florida and Gator. And interesting fact that the one and only time that the Florida Gators have won the NCAA College World Series was back in 2017. Do you know who that they beat in that championship series, Jay?
You said Florida was there in 2017. It's got to be a big baseball school.
This is like obviously. The damn Los Angeles Country Club thing all over again.
Yeah. Man, let's go with.
You just threw it in.
Who are they playing?
What?
In the championship series.
Oh, LSU.
That's who they played when they won in 2017.
way.
Yes, that's the whole point of what I was saying.
Oh, man.
We're going to get there one
Okay,
day.
yeah, we will.
We're not even 2 months into this thing. We're making baby steps. That's for sure.
If this was T-ball, though, it would not be a good look.
No, we ball for Jay. We ball for
We're not
Jay.
heeing and hawing here.
No, no, absolutely.
You'll get there, Dwight. You'll get there.
Oh, man. But yeah, LSU has won 6 times, 91, 93, 96, 97, 2000, and then the last time they won it was in 2009. And as I mentioned, they were the runners-up in 2017 against the Florida Gators. Florida Gators have been runner-up twice in 2005 and 2011. Again, they won that national championship, beating LSU in that series back in 2017. So should be, I mean, the college baseball playoffs and World Series have just been awesome so far, and it all culminates to this weekend, maybe Monday, depending on if it goes to 3 games. First game will be tomorrow night. That's going to be, everything's going to be on ESPN. That's going to be 6 p.m. Central Time, Florida and LSU. I'm not sure who's going to be the home team to start. Probably Florida.
I would imagine Florida with
because
the
the higher seed, and then it'll switch. Yeah, so the third game they would be batting. But yeah, and then second game will be on at 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, again on ESPN, and then that third game, if necessary, which I'm with you, David. I hope this thing goes to 3 because that would just be epic with the pressure. And then we might even see in that third game, LSU is going to want it to get to that third game because do you think Skeens would be available at that point, even though he pitched? Why not? I mean, it puts the last game of the season. What did Brent Musburger say in The Waterboy?
What?
Or no, it was Dan. Dan that said, he said, it's the last game of the season. You can't hold anything back.
That's right. That's it.
It's just your shoulder.
What time is that game on Monday? Is it at 6 o'clock?
It's a 6 p.m.
Okay,
night
good.
game.
I was about to say, I hope I didn't shoot myself in the foot and they start at 3 o'clock. Like,
No.
okay, well, we're going to throw some national on and I'll be right back there watching the game.
Yeah, that's right. We really need a TV in the studio.
And it's not like we don't have any sitting around. So.
Yeah, that's true. There's just a few up there. That's for sure. Oh, man. Jay, what do you think? You know, LSU, Florida. You taking LSU?
I'm taking LSU.
I think David's taking LSU. I'm going to take Florida. I'm going to get those Gators and hopefully get paid by the end of this weekend.
A smart pick, too. That way, either way it goes, we've got it right.
That's right. We got this thing covered. We got this thing covered as well. What do you think on the PGA Tour event? You think he's going to take it down, and you think somebody's going to make it? What about Eric Cole? You think he gets his first PGA Tour win?
He's been top 10. I mean, yeah, he's been rolling, man, and Keith's been giving us the insight on him the last 6 weeks, and he's hanging in there, man. He's due.
Is Adam Scott still up there?
Yeah, he's
Bradley.
He's tied third. He's 10 under par, 5 strokes back. Denny McCarthy shot 65 today, following up his 60. So he's looking to be a first time. I think he's looking to be a first time winner as well. He turned pro back.
Is this a par 70 or?
It is a par 70.
Okay,
yep.
I was about to say, dang, he was 10 under.
yeah, he was on the cusp of shooting. He only made 2 birdies on his last 6 holes to shoot that 10 under par. So he had some serious opportunity to break that 60 barrier, which a lot of people did. But he's got 4 top 10s this year. He's currently 28th in the FedEx Cup standings. He's 33rd in the official world golf rankings, which I hope they get those squared away and back to normal, and including everybody is what I mean.
Yeah,
it's not a true world golf ranking if everybody that plays golf is not included in that.
I was just kind of taking a look at the bottom of it. I mean, like, just seeing how Duffner's like 7 over. I mean, some big names that are just not playing good this week.
I don't think Duffner's played good since he won the PGA Championship.
Yeah, this is true, yeah. But Matt Kuchar's struggling a little bit. He's down. He's +5 is what I've got him at. I mean,
I just can't believe all these Georgia boys that keep, you got Russell Henley, he's at -6. You've got Brian Harmon, he's at -8. Grayson Sigg -8. Who else is up there? Any of these? Yeah, all these Georgia guys that continue to do well. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're hanging in there.
Well, I'm pulling for Eric Cole. I hope nothing against Denny McCarthy, but we've talked a lot about Eric Cole, and that would certainly be some good validation for what we talk about here, especially on Wednesdays on the Inside Drive. Just seems like a cool dude. Makes a lot of birdies. Hasn't won. He's He's 39th in the FedEx Cup, 81 in the World Golf Rankings.
And 35 years old as well.
Yeah,
I mean, he's no young buck.
Turned pro back in 2009. He played at Nova Southeastern University.
Okay, wherever that is.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But we've only got 30 seconds left, so we don't have to worry about you trying to figure out where that is. He was born in Palm Springs, California. But again, it's been a great week. Had a lot of fun talking about all sorts of different stuff. Enjoy the weekend. Get out play some golf. If you need your boat fixed, go to Kramer Marine and Outdoor and get that squared away. And then we'll talk to you on Monday. The Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. Braves first pitch tonight against those hot Cincinnati Reds. We'll be right back, or we'll be back on Monday.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
The tradition continues tonight. The Atlanta Braves